Look at HTML tables and its elements. So we can have an HTML table, and the table is meant to store data in the table format. So we can have a table of border 2 pixels. So we can see we're having this dot here, and it's very small because the table is not having any width and height. So we have a width of 500 pixels and a height of 100 pixels. Okay, so this is what we have, and we're having the table here, and the table is going to contain values, and these values are placed in cells. So the cell can be formed when we have table rows and table columns. So we can have a TR and the table data. So this is the table data and the table row. So we have table data. Let me make another one. So we have 2 table datas, and they are all in one row. So we're having one row here, and the datas we are going to have are 2. So we can have another row with datas times 2 datas. Okay, something like this. And we can see that we're having these 1 2 1 2. So in 2 rows we have 2 datas. We can add datas into the table datas that we have in here. We can say 1 and 2, and at this place we can say A and B. So we have 1 2 A and B. So we can add as many as rows and as many as columns that we want to add. Let's try adding another one here. So table data, let's add another 3 to it. So this is how it's going to be. And this one is not coming up because there are not any data there. It's going to be this whole. So we can say 3, 4 and 5, something like this. And let's try to bring this cell to cover this place, and that can be achieved by using the call span. So call span is also an attribute of the table that can be used to span the columns or merge columns. So we can say we're spanning to 1 2 3. So let's span it 3, and you see it's covering to this place. So we can also span the A. So let's span the A, call span of 2. We can see that they are covering the same space. So A is spanning to 2 and B is spanning to 3. In the same approach, we can also add the table header that's going to identify the type of table we're having. So another row, and we create a table head. So we have a paragraph that's going to hold the title of the table. So we can say timetable, and this timetable is going to be the header of all the table. And we can see that there is this space at that place. So we're going to span the column to also cover all this place. So we have we're going to add 5 span in addition. So call span, let's make it 5, and we can see that it's spanning to all the table width. You can see we're having this side field. So that's the table head, the table data, and the table row. So we're having 3 rows here, and we're having datas within these rows. So a row plus a data makes us a cell. So that's how it works. And we can also span the row. So we can give a row span so that this one can extend to the section of this A we have in here. So let's try that one too. It's also our attribute. We can say a row span. We can say a row span of 2, and we can see that it is merging to that side. That's taking some portion of the table that belongs to the A here. The interesting part is that we can add colors to the tables. So we can take a row, we can take a table head or anything and add background colors to it, but it's not recommended though. That's why we see it in red, because we can use CSS to do that session. So we can say lime, and when we save it, we can see that the colors of the background is lime. We can do it to any of the table datas and the table elements. We can say red, and it's also working. So we can also have spaces around these cells that we have in here using the attribute cell spacing. So we can have spacing around the cell. Let's try to make it 10 pixels, and we can see that the cells are spacing. In the same way, we can also give it a padding. So cell padding 5, so 5 pixels. Okay, and we can see that the cell inside the cell is being padded. So the padding works with the inside, and the spacing works with outside. So it spaces the cells from each other. So that's the cell spacing and the cell padding. So we also have the attributes that can be used with the table to align all the text within it at the center, so it can be attractive. So we can have the align attribute, and we can say center. Okay, so we're having the table aligned to the center. If we extend it, you can see that the table is aligned at the center left, and you can see it's aligning on the left, and the same we can say right, and it's aligned to the right. So let's use the center. All right, so the table can be aligned to the center, and in the same way we can also do it for the data within the row. Let's go with this one. Let's go with align and go with center. So we can see that we're having all the data within this table row at center. So that's how it works. We can also play with the B's and the A. So we can say align. Let's give it right. Okay, so we can see it's aligned to the right. So these attributes can be used on the HTML table, and they are all in red because they are outdated, meaning that CSS can be used to make these styles, and it's not recommended to be using the HTML default styling, because it's going to make the codes complicated, and it's going to make it difficult when you want to change it in later future time. So with the CSS, they are all going to be in one file, and if edits is made to that one file, all other HTML tables are going to have the same effect. But in this case, if we want to change it, we have to come to each table, revisit it, and change it right from here. So it's not advisable. So with the class and IDs, we can give this one a class or an ID, and use that code in the CSS to add modifications to it. So basically, this is how we structure the HTML tables, and it's very useful when you want to group the HTML content in tabular form, and it can be also used to arrange the HTML DOM elements in how you want it to be arranged.